Good morning. You're very welcome this morning to all the members that are listening to this interview. I'd like to welcome Cian Prendergast. He's the founder of Ortus. They were founded back in 2008. Ortus is a managed IT and cloud company, and they have 3 locations in Laois, Dublin and Cork. So today I think Cian is based in Laois in Abbey, so I'll let him give you a bit of background about Ortus.
Morning, Bernie, and thanks for talking to me. So yeah, I'm in our Laois office today. It's a little bit echoey because it's empty. It was our new office, our flagship office, and we were looking forward to relaunching the company, but it hasn't worked out that way.
Okay, but hopefully not in the not too distant future you'll be able to have some kind of a launch there and let everybody see what it looks like, an amazing premises there that you're in. So in terms of the shutdown, I assume you've been very busy working with your customers and getting them set up to work remotely and so on.
We've been working on it for years, to be honest with you. We didn't want this to happen. We didn't anticipate it happening, but our systems have always been designed for they're fully cloud-based, they're secure and secure remote access. So we were ready. We feel like nearly everything we designed was designed for these times, despite the fact that we didn't anticipate these times no more than anyone else.
Yeah, so you were well ahead of the curve and well positioned to kind of service your customers. So in terms of what you have done in the business, have you availed of any of the government supports, like the temporary wage subsidy scheme and so on?
We applied because we didn't know what was going to happen next.
Yeah.
So we won't be availing of any government funding, with the exception of the local enterprise office scheme.
Okay.
And I think everyone should do that. Anyone that can and anyone that's applicable should do that one. So on the other one, we applied initially because we didn't know what was happening. But in actual fact, if anything, we've been busier. We're kind of booked out pretty much until the end of the summer. So if anything, we've been busier. But I think everyone should plan for a few months' time rather than planning for today and tomorrow and next month.
Yeah, you're right. We're kind of in a little bit of a bubble, I think, with those supports. So was it the business continuity voucher that you availed of?
We did, and we did it through our accountants, Avid Partners, who encouraged us to plan ahead. So that's been brilliant.
Okay, and in terms of cash flow management, then you've probably been kind of keeping a close eye on that.
I think everyone has always kept a good eye on cash flow, and now everyone's obsessed with cash flow all of a sudden. So I mean, we have people doing some kind of deep dive work and really analysing stuff that we haven't analysed before. Like, we've always known where we're at from a cash flow point of view, but now we're actually trying to forecast several different scenarios and know what the cash flow situation is for each one. Because it can stem growth as well, and some other plans that we have might need to be prolonged. We don't fully know yet. We'll let this analysis of our finances do its thing, and our continuity plans do their thing, and we'll make some decisions then. But we're definitely quite obsessed with cash flow at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's a good approach to have different scenarios for what may happen down the road, because nobody knows.
True, and we've always done it that way, because you don't know, like if anyone was to lose a big client, or in the past, I remember one particular year, one of our clients got bought out, and another one lost their business in the space of a few months. And if we didn't have cash flow projections for those type of scenarios, we wouldn't have known how to respond. But when you think that way, especially now, when you think that way, you can't get caught out, or at least you're ready for whatever situation happens.
Exactly. And you mentioned earlier, before we were chatting earlier, you've 25 employees. So I'd imagine they have been working remotely, but you've been kind of here already. It's not new to you guys to work remotely.
It's not. Like I said, we're geared up for it. It's very hard to sell systems that are secure remote access systems. It's very hard to sell them if you don't trust in using them yourself. So we have 25. Our hub, our high-end jobs, our leash jobs. But we do have offices now in Cork and Dublin where we've got different departments.
Okay.
But we also have people that work from home anyway.
Yeah.
We have people working nationwide from home anyway.
Okay.
And then, you know, there's times in the past that someone would have said to me, I just need to get my head into this for a day. And I would just say, go off home and do it if you like, if you've got the space. But I think working from home is all about having, well, the technology to do it, number one, and having the proper space to do it, peace and quiet to do it. I mean, you can't really do it at the kitchen table with 7 kids running around you.
I've seen some people trying to do that.
Yeah, me too, and that was okay. It was funny. It was funny for a while.
Yeah. So in terms of returning to the office, do you have plans for that, or what way do you see it panning out?
Yeah, look, we're supporting people directly in the front line in the healthcare sectors.
Okay.
So we've always been allowed work. We've always been allowed work where we saw fit. To date, we've saw fit to have everyone working from home. A couple of roles come to the office, but there's no one else in there in some of the different offices, depending on their role. And of course, some people have had to be literally calling out to client sites that needed us. So I guess, we don't see a problem with working from home. We never have. But I do have a lot of clients who didn't like it, who have now accepted. I mean, a lot of clients who didn't like it, then accepted it, and now want to know a bit more. How do I know people are working? You know, how can I see if someone's working? And you know, we have solutions for that too.
Okay.
Anyone that's telling you that they're going to set your business up to securely work from home, A, it better be secure, and B, it better work, and C, you know, they have to have add-on solutions such as knowing when people log on and off. You know, I don't need that because I know my staff inside out and back to front. They know me, and we're workers. It's just part of our culture. But if you don't feel like you have that, there are solutions.
And you had mentioned earlier that bringing your own staff back in, you're assessing each one on an individual basis. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we've done an assessment, and our assessment has come back from each individual, and they've answered some questions about, you know, A, their contact with people, and B, their underlying conditions themselves. And that's what's just as important that people don't ask is, like, if they're living with someone vulnerable, someone with an underlying condition, we put them in the risk category too. So what we're doing with our staff members is we're treating them as individuals, and we're also listening to what they want. So if I have a staff member who is living with someone who, say, is diabetic, and they filled out in the form that they're not comfortable coming back in, you know, I trust them, and they don't have to come back in. They'll come back in, A, when the government say it's the right thing to do, B, when the company thinks it's the right thing to do, and we'll only do that when we see that they're not at risk and their loved ones aren't at risk, and C, when they're happy to do so themselves, you know, within reason. I mean, if we're having the same conversation in 2 years' time, you know, it could be different, but within reason.
I think that's a great approach, because it's not a one-fit-all solution.
It's not.
I mean, some people love working at home as well, and other people really can't wait to get back. So really, everyone ticks in a different way. But I think it's great that you're recognising that, and it sounds like you've a very nice culture in Ortus, I have to say. And I'm really looking forward to actually meeting you in person, and really to see that new office space that looks very interesting with the slide there behind you. It looks great. So look, I wish you all the best and continued success with your business, and hopefully your growth will continue post-COVID. Or actually, I heard someone saying the other day, post-COVID is not a term, because we're living with COVID. So we really need to get our heads around that terminology as well. And thanks very much for taking the time today, and stay safe.
It's a pleasure, Bernie. Thanks very much, and well done on all the work you're doing for the Chamber. It's great.
Great. Thanks, Keane.
Thank you.